Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the delay, but welcome finally to Let's Kung Fu, episode 45. See if I can make me appear. Here I am. As always, I am your host, Damon Knight. I do again apologize for the delay. For whatever reason, XSplit really didn't want to broadcast to Twitch. But I persevered and banged my head against it repeatedly and beat it into submission. So here we are, ready to have some super awesome fun times. Not a whole lot of craziness to talk about tonight. Woo! Look, my hands disappear! Apparently my webcam is not set to the correct resolution. Let's fix that for all of you fine folks as I potentially freeze my video. Hey, there we go. Much better. Anyway, today, we are going to change things up just a little bit. Traditionally, we've been doing interviews for several months now, things like that. And when I haven't had interviews lined up, I've been doing StarCraft exercises videos, which are super fun, and I love them, but I'm kind of running dry on ideas at the moment, which is not good. So I also don't have an interview lined up. I'm working on a couple of really cool ones, so hopefully next week or the following I'll have some amazing stuff for you guys there. But I still wanted to do a show. Like, I didn't want to cancel. So I racked my brain and I decided that we would do kind of a throwback episode. So way back when I started the show, it was actually more like replay analysis and things like that. And we kind of moved away from that over time, but I figured we would do another one tonight. So here we are. Today we are going to be looking at some Protoss versus Terran games that I've played. Again, I'm a Diamond League player, occasionally brushing Masters, but haven't made it there yet, so we're calling me Diamond. Because I'll be honest with myself, that's where I am. But the point, because eventually I will get to that, is PvT. Traditionally, this was one of my weaker matchups, and watching the After Hours Gaming League, one of the Grandmaster players in the league, Short Round, busted out this really cool fast forge for upgrades style that I liked a lot, and decided to steal. I've been told that this is kind of a feast style of play. I haven't actually verified if that's accurate or not, so I probably won't call it that, but he gets credit if that's what it actually is. Otherwise, I give Short Round credit because that's who I stole it from. So I'm going to try to copy his build, but, badly. So let's go into the awesome game. You can see I've got a whole new setup here with my green screen, so I'm inside the game. Woo! So I'm going to hang out down here so you can all see my lovely face the entire time. And we're going to go through this replay. Now, again, the general idea is it's a gateway expand, the fast forge to try to get +1 armor. I followed up with +2 armor into like a High Templar Archon mix early game for the splash damage and to stay alive, and then switching over into Colossus production in the mid to late game. So we're going to watch the first game. This is one that I won, I'm happy to say. I'm actually going to come back to full screen me for a minute. So this is a game that I won. I picked this game for a couple of reasons. We're going to watch a game that I won and a game that I lost. We're going to pick apart both of them and see what I could have done better and what I should have done better. But I picked this specific game because the guy I played against was very bitter. He, apparently the fact that I play Protoss is a great personal insult to him, and he wanted to let me know. I feel like I played this game reasonably well. There's some cool harassment that he does and things like that, which is kind of why I picked this over the other option that I had for you guys. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually look at this. So, alright, here we go. Hit play. I'll pull up fancy graphics, playing against XCF Living Legend, our Diamond Terran buddy over here on the left. And of course, here's me in the upper right. Yes, he's quite upset because Protoss is very A-clicky. I agree, it's extraordinarily A-clicky. This is wonderful for me. As I will mention to him, I have horrendous APM. Seriously, I mean, I'm slightly under-exaggerating. It's not really 30 most of the time. I'm probably at like 50 APM. But the point is, I'm not a fast player by any stretch of the imagination. So I like Protoss. It plays well into my strengths. In any event, let's speed this along. You guys can kind of read the chat, and we have a bit of back and forth. He decides to criticize my grammar. Apparently I use apostrophes more than he feels appropriate. Somehow I will survive. So you can see, you know, gateway on 13, gas on 14. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. I am going to build a Stalker pretty quickly to send into my mineral line. The entire point of which is to defend against the early Reaper harass that basically 100% of Terrans are doing. Unless they're, you know, Widow Mine, rushing, dropping, whatever. So, you know, scouting around, blah blah blah, nothing exciting. I have the worst scout pattern luck on the planet. His gateway does get down, or his expansion does make it down before mine, which is okay. I could have gone ahead and expanded a little bit earlier, based on seeing that. I could have not gotten this Stalker, but you know, I'm Diamond. It's a feel-good Stalker, right? Like, it makes me warm and fuzzy inside. So you see, about 5 minutes, my expansion's gone down. Cool, awesome, wonderful, and bam, man, as soon as my expansion finishes, I throw down my good friend the Forge, so I can start getting those fast upgrades. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to follow this up pretty immediately, hopefully. I'm going to figure this out here in a minute. I'm going to take my second gas, because I'm going to need lots of gas. Also, you can get that mothership core, so that my Stalker can move down to my expansion. But, man, I really thought I did this better. Come on. Come on. Alright, there's my +1 armor. I'm going to start a Twilight Council really soon. Promise. There it is. Get that Twilight Council so that I will be able to get +2 armor the very moment that +1 is finished. He's continuing to tease me for A-clicking. I really don't see the big deal. I am going to drop cannon up here and cannon down here to defend against Widow Mine drops. Just generally find that useful thing to do, because I've died to lots of Widow Mine drops and it really sucks. And this build does not get me observers super quickly, so I want to make sure that I will have some form of protection. Supply's a little even. I'm not chrono boosting probes as I should be. Tisk Damon, I've got a good chrono boost in here, almost 2. Now that my cannons are going down, move my mothership core down here. But you can see I have 1 unit. Here's my second piece of army. Look at all this. All of my stuff is in economy, as you can see here. I'm not even beating him that much again because I'm screwing up my chronos. I focus all my chronos basically on the Forge and those upgrades. So that as soon as +1 finishes, +2 starts. Throw down more gateways for fun and profit. Here comes my Templar archives to make sure that I'll have Archons and Storm available. I probably won't have Storm invisible in invisible. I won't have Storm available in time for the 10-minute push. I'm reasonably certain. I don't actually have the math on all of this sorted out yeah, there's no way I'll have that in time. But I will have an Archon by the time the 10-minute push would arrive, or at least I would be able to have an Archon by the time 10-minute push would arrive. Which is good. It's kind of beefy. It's kind of silly since I'm focusing so heavily on this. Oh, look, I'm missing a chrono. There we go. Since I'm so heavily focused on the armor, the Archons are not as good as they could possibly be because armor doesn't help Archons. But they're just beefy units and they do splash damage. You can see I've got charge coming out as well. I'm very gas starved, but generally pretty mineral rich. So I want to maximize the effectiveness of my zealots. This is charge, and all of that armor really makes them kick some butt. Supply again pretty even. He's finally getting his +1 weapon upgrades. Kind of surprised he's getting his +1 ship upgrades, but sure, why not? But yeah, I've got an army starting to form here. He does a little drop up here. I'll Photon Overcharge, because Photon Overcharge is pretty good. And it's just gonna push him right off. Almost get that medevac. Not quite. Rebuild my cannon. He's gonna be actually super annoying with drops throughout the game. I don't deal brilliantly with this. I'm not very good about watching the mini-map. So I tend to miss them. For instance, right here are a couple of medevacs that are gonna come right here to do a drop. It gets deflected by the cannon, and I have some forces out here by the time he gets here. I didn't even notice these medevacs. Like, I saw that my stalkers are gonna chase him away, and I'm gonna, like, see the stalkers firing at something. Yeah, I'm not paying any attention. I don't even see this. By the time I get down here and look at my stalkers, it's about now. These moved out of range. Can't even see him. He's just gonna redrop up in my main. It's fine. I've got +3 armor on the way, and I'm working on Psystorm. A couple more gateways. Got a lovely Sim City going on. And I'm just, working in some zealots, pulling back a little bit, and make sure I'll be able to do this. I'm finally getting in a High Templar so that I'll be able to... do I not leave that? Man. At some point, I feed back one of these guys and pick it off, and it feels really good. And he's moving out with a small force. I'm not really concerned. I'm ahead in supply at this point. And one of his units is at 0-1, working on 1-1. I'm at 0-2, almost 0-3. So I'm feeling pretty good. Finally getting my robo now. I should have taken a third by now. This was actually pretty bad. And 12 minutes, I've got lots of money. I really should have done it. He's going to be way ahead here. He's very annoyed that my he doesn't like my photon cannons. The guy's really critical. I don't know. Very angry. So he drops again. Not a big deal. I was good about not overreacting. Yeah, here we go. Here's my High Templar. Pick at least one of these guys up. Do it! Do it! Bam! Oh, that was so good. But yeah, I was good about not pulling my whole army back, which is something that traditionally I had problems with. I tended to overreact to drops and move my whole army, and then get pushed at the front and killed. Don't like getting murdered till I die. It sucks. He's not macroing. He's got loads of dollars. And the nice thing is here, especially once I feedback that again and stop him from healing, zealots with +3 armor, you just can't freaking kill as Terran. It's awesome. He is now getting ghosts, which is bad news for me because I am so Templar heavy. However, I'm expecting this. This is why the moment, really as soon as you get to around this point, preferably actually a little bit earlier, you want to start doing the Colossus transition, as I am starting to do. I have taken my third finally. It's under construction, but I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it. I'm not going to get to keep it. He's going to come kill it, and I'm going to let him. See, I'm getting my, starting my tech upgrades. This is another thing that I'm doing wrong. I should be double forging. I feel like it's safe and sustainable and would be fine. So that's just something I need to work on doing. Yeah, I do totally see this drop coming. No big deal. Don't think I saw this. But it's also not really a big deal. So Colossus is coming out. I think I already have one. No, I'm still working on my one. But whatever. I'm ignoring it. I pretty much just let this base die. Not a big deal. He's doing a drop that I'm missing. I could have stormed and feedback and all kinds of cool things. There we go. There's my feedback. Working to an Archon. And honestly, these guys will just clean this up fine. But I'm ignoring this. I'm sending a couple of Zealots over here. I've seen all the ghosts. No concern at all. I felt pretty ahead at this point, which is why I didn't freak out about losing that base. I mean, obviously I'm going to need to retake it. I need the economy, and like this is pretty late for still being on 2 bases. You know, getting my Thermal Lance, getting more Colossus up. It's fine. He has not seen my Colossus. And I've seen his army and kind of just gone, wow, that was not a very big or impressive army. So I pretty much just decided to go kill him now. Not 100% sure what the game plan was. A really convoluted attack path, I guess. Maybe he thought I had a proxy pylon over here. But I don't, and so yeah, I just kind of Hulk smash him a little bit. I decided against pushing in the front door right off the bat. Take out his third. Kind of even this up a little bit. Floating $1 billion. We need to work on. Yeah, drop the timer for fun. I should have retaken this base by now. I think I actually make up for it by taking 2 bases after I win this battle. He EMPs, but he whiffs them pretty badly, and he does some damage to my Archons and my Stalkers. But nothing really to the rest of my army. Terrible thing. Ignore most of my army and let a small portion of it engage. But I mean, my Zealots are just destroying even my Colossus, which is gonna die, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Colossus dies. But my Zealots clean this up pretty handily. Again, you know, they're 3-1 Zealots against 2-2 Bio. With Colossus and Storm, I mean, super little he can do about it. So yeah, I retake my third. I know he's on 2, well, I don't know he's on 2 bases. Now I know he's on 2 bases. I was checking for a 4th. I take my 4th as well, which is a good thing because I just mined out my main. So I send these guys down. So yeah, I never really hit a 3-base economy, so it's entirely my bad. It's something I need to improve. No forward pylons, which is bad. Again, I have $1 billion. I could easily have afforded one. He's trying to retake his third, but I just go in for the kill. He EMPs my Zealots. I don't really care because I have lots of armor and other stuff, and I just keep picking up units as they come in. Again, I somehow screwed up my attack command. Didn't send large numbers of my units in, but I have a stream of High Templar and Colossus and Zealots coming across the map all the time. I do eventually, I think I just started microing some of my units a little bit. At some point, I micro this Colossus and tell him to stop attacking the barracks. Because that's stupid. And drop a couple of storms. No big deal, waste a lot of energy. Work with the Colossus. Yeah, here we go. Now I actually micro my Colossus. Look at that. He is, yeah, basically he picked up to try to drop directly on the Colossus, but there was too much splash damage there. With the Archons, he just didn't really have a prayer. I don't know why my Archon decided that the gas was the most important thing to kill, but yeah, the game's over. He just hasn't left. He did double expand during this, but yes. A-click for the win. Then he leaves the game. So, if I remember my hotkeys here. So alright, so what was that game all about, right? The early upgrades helped keep me alive. Gateway units suck. So if I had just gone for lots of unupgraded gateway units early on, basically when he hit his medevac timing, he probably would have just rolled me. I still could have tried like a rushed for faster storm if I hadn't spent my gas on the upgrades for armor, but I don't know that that really would have helped. If he just had good control and split his units properly, I would have still been screwed. So again, this style does play very well for someone like me who has low APM, not much of a multitasker in-game, and who does, in fact, A-move quite a lot. Makes my units beefy, they can take punishment, and they can get to his units and still be alive to do damage, which is the big problem with Zealots against Terran. You know, obviously I have a lot of mechanical errors that need to be improved. You know, my chrono boost usage at the end was appalling. I had almost full chrono boost on all of my gateways, all my nexuses rather. You know, I should have been chrono boosting more upgrades, chrono boosting gateways, chrono boosting robos. Speaking of which, man, I had one robo. I had 2, 4, 6, 8 gateways. That is not enough gateways. You know, I should have had at least 10, preferably 12, maybe 13. Should have had a second robo. You know, I wasn't upgrading to ground weapons level 3 at the end. I could afford it, why not? Little things like this that you have to go back and, you know, kind of address one at a time. But for my general playstyle, this feels pretty solid. I've got a 60-ish% win rate, probably slightly over, between 60 and 70% win rate against Terran right now, with this build into Diamond, so it's not horrible. When I was on fire and almost broke into Masters, I was beating Masters League players with it as well, but that's largely just, you know, a matter of correct control, and, you know, just when you're in the zone, right? Like you can just make things work. So yeah, I generally like this build a lot. And if you execute it well, or even just, you know, you don't suck completely at it, you can do awesome things and you can crush some faces. But because I am a kind, loving person, and I know you will all be really entertained by it, we're going to follow up the game that I won with a game that I lost. So you can all see an example of what happens if you don't play it well or properly. So again, this is going to be a Diamond Terran player. One sec to get the replay all loaded up for you guys. And here we go. Alright, so once again, down here in the bottom left is me, Filthy Rake, the one and only. Up here in the top right is Cabrivis Frog. I'm gonna guess that's supposed to be Frog, Cabrivis Frog, maybe? No idea. Hopefully someone will see this and Google it and figure out what the hell that means. I'm sure not going to. I'm lazy. We're just going to zoom along a little bit for the early game. Again, I'm going to do this pretty standard. The SimCity is actually, like, kind of important for this. I try to wall off a little bit around one of my gases to limit the number of places that his Reapers can come in and out. And just generally, like, a good SimCity helps with drops that aren't actually, like, strictly back here. If he drops over here and he has to go around my buildings to get to my mineral line, this is a good thing. So I do my best to make this neat and tidy. Unfortunately, he does trap my probe, which makes me sad. It's not the end of the world, but I like to try to get it out alive. I do 9 scout, which is why this guy gets in to begin with. I mostly do it just to get a feel for if he's taking an early gas or not. Again, totally standard. I open up the same way 100% of the time. As soon as the Cybercore finishes, I'll get my Stalker out, start Warp Gate. Yep, there we go. Looking good, looking normal. It's still early game, so I'm not horrific at spending my Chrono Boost yet. Give it time. Yeah, I should probably turn off those notifications. You guys don't care that Kawaii Race is on. Took my expansion, again, right around 5 minutes. It's the normal time for me for this build. My forge is down, started my mothership core. Good, great, normal stuff. There's my Twilight Council. Stalker picks off his SCV. I've evened up the score. I should be moving my Stalker forward. Hopefully I will here shortly. And I will be starting my armor upgrade. There we go. It's a little bit late. I actually prefer to start this before I get my mothership core. I just kind of screwed up. I did that wrong. So a couple of Stalkers out. Again, the cannons are going down. So I move my mothership core out for the photon overcharge defense. He went super defensive with the double bunkers. I'm going to guess he saw the Twilight and figured I was going to do some sort of blink play or something. Some sort of all-in. And he just wanted to be really safe. Man, look at this. Popular. So yeah, you know, nothing too crazy going on. Pretty standard here. Got my Templar Archives coming down. +1 armor is done. Come on. There we go. There's my +2. I actually noticed I almost started the Robo there. Don't know what I was thinking. That was way too early for the Robo. Got the early Twilight. Templar Archives. Which is good. Means I can have some Archons ready for defense. Not Chrono boosting. Not Chrono boosting. There we go. And he's pulling way ahead in supply. I'm not. Look at all this Chrono boost here. I should be Chrono boosting out workers. Don't have any guys in this gas yet. You know, I didn't pay enough attention. I actually wonder if I never put guys in this gas and I didn't realize it. It would explain why I've more gas poor than I expect. Nope, okay, cool, there we go. Should have done that earlier though, because I don't have an Archon yet. Because I was kind of gas poor. So, throw down my photon overcharge. Try to micro this as well as I can. Try to buy time for that Archive to come alive. I have to lose a whole lot of probes trying to hold this. I mean, I'm in trouble. It's not good. You know, my Zealots are +2 armor now. He hit just before my +2 finish, which sucked. But I am slowly whittling down his numbers. And he is eventually going to actually just abandon this attack. But, I mean, he's got double my supply at this point. It's not going particularly poorly for him. I was actually hoping I could snipe these medevacs. Which is why I left that as a High Templar instead of immediately morphing it to an Archon. But he's still... You know, I screwed up. I missed some Chrono Boost for a while, so my +2 armor wasn't done when he attacked, which it should have been. There isn't a lot to say about that other than, holy crap, that's bad. This is why not missing Chrono Boost is important. I do have Storm out now. I've got a couple of High Templar to make use of it, which is, you know, thank goodness for that. Get my Observers out, because they're just important. And, you know, trying to rebuild my worker count. But look at this. All this Chrono Boost that I could be using to get those probes churned out. The economic damage he did here was really good. That's why +3 armor isn't even started. So I will, I believe, yeah, I dropped a couple of decent storms. Do a fair amount of damage there. And I mean, you know, he's not double my supply anymore, but he's still like 50 supply ahead. My macros slipped a bit. Got some money. I start +1 attack. Feel like that was a mistake. Instead of getting my armor like I usually do. I do push out and try to proactively do some damage here. Which in the end I'm also going to call a mistake. I don't have charge. Yeah, I don't have charge, which I need. I don't have very many zealots anyway, even if I did. You know, again, my storms aren't terrible, but without charge lots, this doesn't work. And you can see, he's just kiting me, doing loads and loads of damage. And some poor control on my part. Should have pulled back before now. I did pick off that medevac at least, but this is not good. I just now got charge going. I still think the armor would have been a better choice than the weapons. That was just kind of a panic decision because I was poor and couldn't afford +3. Because all my gas was going into High Templar to try to stay alive. It's probably the wrong decision to make. But again, you know, the supplies, I've evened them up, right? Like, I'm trading okay. But, unfortunately for me, he now has a third. And I don't. Like, I've resaturated this base, which is good, but my money's getting low. I wonder if I ever rebuild my mothership core. And listen, he's just in a really good position. He's getting 2-2. I'm at 2-1 now. I've lost my upgrade advantage. I'm getting 2-2. Again, I still think I should have gotten my armor instead. And I'm really going heavy on the High Templar. Instead of getting the 2 High Templar that I warped in, or the 1 High Templar that I warped in, I should have thrown down the Robo facility to get Colossus. He's got no Vikings. He's not building any Vikings, and he does have ghosts. The Colossus switch would have been a smart choice. And he killed my probe. Couldn't take my third. Yeah, I mean, heck, he's taking a 4th now. It's really bad. He's pulling way ahead in supply again. There we go. Finally getting my Robo Bay, but I could have gotten this minutes ago. I'm not chrono boosting my upgrades again. Look at this. Full. I'm spending, basically I'm too worried about him attacking me again, so I wasn't spending the time getting up my economy or my tech or my upgrades like I should have. I mean, I'm getting an Immortal out just because I see that he's coming across map and my Robo Bay isn't done yet, and I want something to do some damage. But I'm in trouble. I mean, I move out to engage, try to keep him from landing money EMPs on the bulk of my army, but he kites really well. I'm not sure I ever get any really good storms off on him. And my High Templar just die for nothing. Not a single storm got off there. That was really bad control. So I mean, mostly this looks like, you know, the build is a little bit strict in some ways, right? Like you can't. It's not a forgiving build. You can't just screw up and not chrono boost your upgrades out. It's an upgrade heavy build for the early game. Because I didn't have my +2 armor, I lost way too many workers early game. My economy went straight to hell, and I spent the rest of the game trying desperately to play catch up and failing. So I mean, yeah, okay, I have a couple of High Templar, and I've got a Colossus coming out, but he's 100 feet ahead of me. You know, I'm throwing my probes away to stall for time, but there's literally no way I can win this. This goes really poorly. I didn't I don't know what I did there. That was just ugly. So, wonderful viewers, what did we learn from this? I mean, again, I think that the build is generally solid. The fast upgrades early game make a huge difference against the big bio balls that Terran spits out. Makes those charge lots super good. They do plenty of damage as it is, so if they stay alive long enough to hit those Marines, they're just going to tear through them, especially if they have charge. So, you know, really prioritize charge. I tend to lose games where I put off getting it, like this game. And really make sure that you don't miss those chrono boosts on those upgrades. You need the +2 armor. +1 is not adequate with the sacrifice that you made, dumping all of the resources into the Forge and then into the Twilight Council. Put that gas in the Twilight Council. You better get your damn +2 armor before the push hits. Otherwise, you just wasted it and threw away your economy and eventually the game. Like, I can go... If you watch Day 9, he says, you know, the problem is people tend to, like, look too far into the game and say, oh, I lost this battle and this lost me the game, or you know, oh, I made these, you know, misclicks and it cost me the game. But really, you lost the game a while ago. For me, I lost the game very early on when I was missing my chrono boosts on my Forge. I'm really just missing my chrono boosts in general. So the takeaway from this, for me, is I need to watch my Nexus energy, and I need to nail those chrono boost timings just 100% of the time. I need to not build up so much chrono boost energy, and then I'll just be in a massively better position and be able to win games. So yeah, I think that's our analysis for the night. We've been going for a pretty reasonable chunk of time, I like to think. And I know I'm not the most exciting guy when I don't have someone else to talk to, or if I'm not doing goofy StarCraft exercises that I know you guys may not admit it, but you love them. So yeah, that's our show for this week. Again, next week, crossing my fingers, hopefully I will have an interview subject for you guys. I'm working really hard trying to get something scheduled, but all of the players are super busy with WCS right now, so it's really tricky. Hopefully we'll get one. I'm not going to say who, just in case it doesn't work out, but soon I will have more interviews for you. Worst case scenario, we can look at more crazy games. Maybe we can look at you know, diamond level implementations of the Naniwa Immortal Zealot build, which is really sweet, and I have an 80% win rate with right now. So, if you haven't looked up that build, and you're a Protoss player, do it. It is ridiculous and awesome. So yeah, that's all for this week, guys. I will see you all again, I hope, next week.